Hi everyone, it's Mary from Lulu's Thyme and Essentials. I'm going to talk about infusions and decoctions. What they are is a way to get the nutrients out of your herb. It's a process. So let's start with an infusion. An herbal infusion, it's a drink or a remedy or just an extract prepared by soaking the leaves of a plant or an herb in a liquid in water. Hot infusion. What hot infusions will do is draw out vitamins, oils, enzymes. Common herbs would be ginger root, red clover, horsetail, raspberry leaf. The reason you'd make an infusion would be because you're using the more delicate parts of an herbs like flowers, leaves, or buds. Step one, what you want to do is you're going to want to place the herbs in a sterile quart jar. Next, you're going to boil water and pour them over the herbs. You can always boil the water first if you want to kind of time everything well. Step 3 would be to cover and let it steep. 30 to 45 minutes. You really have to check on what herb because some herbs you don't need to steep that long. Some you only need to maybe steep 10 minutes, 20 minutes. What will happen is the longer you steep it, more often the more potent it can be. The fourth step of infusions is to strain the herb from your infusion. You can often reheat it if you need to. The fifth step is to label your jar, date, and store it in your refrigerator. You should get rid of it after about 2 days. Some herbs you should check because they may only be for 24 hours. Some people like to take herbs for medicinal purposes. It is recommended that you drink it at room temperature. So here is a very general recipe for an infusion. It is a per cup recipe. You would take about a tablespoon of dried herbs or 2 tablespoons if you do want to use fresh herbs to a cup of boiling water. You're going to pour the boiling water over the herbs and cover it. You're going to allow it to steep until it's room temperature, and then you would strain the herbs from the liquid and drink it. Or you could store it. Lulu only recommends about 24 hours for most herbs that are infused. Some are two, some can be longer. So, you can go out there and look at other recipes for more specific herbs. I always wondered why my mother used to cover it, and now I see why. Some herbs are prepared by cold infusion. Oftentimes it's because the heat would actually degrade the nutritional value of it. Cold infusions are used for fragile essential oils or mucilaginous herbs. That's how you say it. Fragile essential oils. Mucilage herbs are slimy mucus herbs like aloe vera, licorice root, okra, marshmallow, and flaxseed. The most common use is to help coat mucous membranes, any skin irritations, and to help with digestion. Mucous membranes line most commonly the gut and the respiratory passages. Decoctions. This is actually one of my favorite. So the purpose of a decoction is it's a method to take out the minerals, salts, and bitters from dried berries, bark, seeds, and hard roots. This is how to make a decoction. You're going to use a small saucepan and about 3 tablespoons of dried herb. Use about a quart of water. The more important thing is just to make sure that you cover the herbs. You're not going to put a cover on the saucepan. You're going to heat the water slowly to simmer for about 20 to 45 minutes. And if you're not sure what simmering is just below a boil. So, you can kind of see the water moving, but it's not boiling. When that's done, you're going to strain the herbs into a jar. Usually, I like to use a quart size. You're going to pour hot water into the jar until it's full, and don't boil the water. If you want to add more delicate leaves that you cannot decoct, here's a example that I'll use for you. It is my elderberry syrup. I love to make elderberry syrup. Well, the elderberries, you have to decoct them, otherwise they could be toxic for you. So what you do is I follow the steps to decoct the elderberry syrup and anything else that in there that needs to pull the nutrients out by decoction. I won't put them when I strain them into a quart jar, I'll usually put them into a bowl, and then I will add the more delicate herbs in there, which would be the honey. I actually thicken with honey. You can add fruit juice, you can add a powder, you can add licorice root, um, you can add herbal syrups. There are some other flowers that are more delicate. So, say I'm using rose hips. I would put that into the bowl. And basically, what you're doing now is letting it steep again while you've added the hot stuff. So it's almost like a hot infusion to a decoction. And then what you can do is if you want to use the quart jar, you can restrain them once the more delicate herb has steeped. And that's pretty much how you mix and match some of the herbs.